All right, welcome back to the Pitch Podcast. My name is Eric Wobanaw, the president of the Baseball Blue Book, and super excited to have Joey and Dylan Perez with me today from OTW Bats. We try to bring on a lot of the industry leaders, innovators, and trailblazers onto the program, really making a difference in the world of baseball and beyond. Our mission is to highlight innovative ideas, share success stories, and explore the challenges and opportunities facing entrepreneurs in the baseball industry. And it's just been a lot of fun getting to know different owners. I've had the privilege of meeting both of these guys at the ABCA this year. Great guys, great company, and super excited about having them on the program and hearing their pitch, which is the name of the podcast, but also just getting into some questions, really business side questions. The baseball side's always fun, but I really am interested in hearing really where you guys came from and where you're going, some of the trends, the changes that are happening in baseball, and really from a business perspective. So, guys, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. We're excited to be here. It was a pleasure meeting you guys at ABCA, and it's been a really good synergy. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, thank you, guys. Well, hey, let's go. Hold on, real quick. I forgot to turn on my light. So, guys, now you can see my ugly bug better. All right. We're excited to hear the pitch. Go ahead.
So my name's Joey Perez. This is my son, Dylan Perez. We were with OTW Bat Company based out of Houston, Texas. We were founded in 2013, and we have been certified by the league for 11 years now. So we've been very blessed. We've had a lot of big names under our belt. We've got an excellent product. We designed and developed it, initially to bring something innovative to the game. We wanted to, I was always had ties to the game. So when I was looking at baseball bats from some of the pro guys that I've known in the past, I noticed a lot of inconsistencies in what was being done out there in the market. So we decided to get a little innovative and actually come up with a proprietary finish to make the surface of the bat harder. Because what we want to do is we want to transfer that energy from the bat into the ball and not let the bat absorb that energy. So we were noticing that at impact, especially when guys are hitting a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, the seams were leaving an indentation in the surface of the barrel. So at that point, we decided, you know what, there's something here that we're missing. So we came up with a proprietary finish, and it's been well received. We put it into the hands of some of the pro guys that we knew at the time. And I wanted them to break it down, tell me, what was wrong with it. I wanted to play with it. And next thing you know, they're like, hey, you got to get in the bass business. So, within 30 days, we had the company up and running. And within 45 days after that, we were up in New York getting our MLB certification. And here we are. The rest is history. We've been really blessed the entire path.
That's fantastic. Dylan, talk a bit about what your role is in the business, working side by side with your dad. I have the opportunity to do that. My dad's the chairman of the board for my company, and so I always enjoy his insights. But I also have my own ideas. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Of course, no, yeah. So of course, when he started the company, I was in 7th grade, and we started it in a garage, and I was with him turning the bats, painting the bats, and once we were able to get a shop, and I was in there, turning the bats, sanding the bats, doing all the stuff, doing the whole process, learning that from a pretty young age. But then I went off to school and to play baseball, and then found my path through different courses of study, and stacked my skills. And I've for the past couple of years, probably I would say 5 or 6 years, I've just been doing a lot of research on the marketing, and I've just been, like I said, stacking my skills, and I've just, had a couple ideas, and I came to him. I said, I think we can really turn this around and make a big splash on the social media side, and I think that's the way that everything's going. So, if you're willing to let me come on board, I'm willing to help. And,
that's great.
Here we are.
No, that's great. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things is back when I started the company, he was really involved in baseball, traveling, doing travel ball. We traveled the country, we traveled overseas. And, one of the reasons I started the company was because that was our passion. This was one thing that we shared from the time he was 4 years old until now. And, I started the company because of that, bond that we had. And, with the mindset that eventually one day he would want to take it over and take it to new levels. But we've come a long way. We've always been a small company compared to some of the big dogs out there that we're up against. But we'll compare our product to anybody and stand up to them any time of the day. Unfortunately, my business partner couldn't be here. Of course, you met him at ABCA. That's Colby Rasmus, former MLB
Yep.
star. He's been a huge asset to us. We've done a lot of good things, and he's on board with the plan moving forward. And we've got a lot of things in the pipeline. You're going to start seeing a lot of OTW out there.
That's great, and that's where we're going to go. But first off, Colby, what a great guy. As a baseball fan, I've always known Colby and watching him, and he's just always a grinder. And meeting him, I don't. There was nothing that was surprised me. He was as cool and collected as he was on the field. What a great guy! You guys, very very fortunate to have someone like that as really he's a co-owner, right? He's part of the business.
Yes. He and I are partners in this, and like I said, he's a very humble guy.
Yep.
Very very in tune with what we're trying to do with the business. He's got a lot of good ideas, a lot of good connections. So we're planting the seeds to take the company to another level.
That's great. Yeah, Colby and I, we had a farm of interest. We were talking goats and animals, and
that's
so
right.
he was.
That's right.
Yep. So he was a lot of fun to get to know. So let's talk about what you had just mentioned, kind of the big plans. I guess before we get to that, I want to ask the first question of really is the inspiration behind it. And you did talk about that a bit, Joey, of wanting to be part of your son's life, kind of have a business, the same passions. Was that really the biggest, motivation and inspiration that you had, or were there anything else that you'd like to add?
The idea came to me, quite honestly, in a dream. At the time, I was doing some residential remodeling, and let me back up for a second. So I've always been around the woodworking field. My family growing up had a furniture manufacturing company down in South Texas. So I've always been around that genre, and I've always had a fascination with wood. One night I was laying in bed, while I was doing the remodeling stuff, and had a dream, and it came up with the idea of developing that proprietary finish. Woke up the next day and put my ideas on paper, and from there it just kind of blossomed. It really just took its own life, and it was such a blessing to begin with, because I didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to get in the bat business. It certainly
Right.
did not happen that way. But I did have a dream that night that kind of led us down this path, and here we are. And we've had some of the biggest names in baseball, swing our bats in very monumental circumstances. We've been really blessed to be a part of some really, really big events, World Series, things of that nature.
Yep. No,
But here
OTW
we
is
are, and like I said, I'm happy to have my son along for the ride. And like I said, he's our creative director, and he's done a lot of research on the marketing side. He's really taken a grasp of the social media aspect, and we're bringing on some really influential people in that space. So, like I said, you're going to see a lot of things happen here in the near future.
It's interesting. You started this when wood bats really, that it wasn't a big thing, right? It was the traditional Easton, and kind of talk about that a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So for about 150 years, bats have been no change at all. I mean, it's been simple. It was ash for 150 years, some hickory, a couple of other species of wood in the arena. And then about 2005, maple came on board by one of our competitors. And ever since then, it kind of took off. It's a little bit more durable than ash. I'm a big fan of ash. I think it's got better pop. It's got a little bit better flex. The sound is so much nicer. It's that true traditional knock that we always looked for. We grew up as kids listening to. But maple has some similar properties, just a little more durable. But like I said, for 100 years, bat making hadn't changed at all. So we kind of brought something a little more innovative to the table, and it's kind of flattering because a lot of our competitors and the bigger players out there have kind of followed suit to what we kind of did as a small company, and it's flattering but aggravating at the
Yeah.
same time that they're doing a lot of things that we're doing, especially with the innovations that we've had, the development of the proprietary finishes. Everybody's kind of migrated that way, and even colors that we introduced early on, other bat companies have copied. So it's like I said, it's flattering that they're everybody's watching, but we're still in it to win it. We're looking forward to to growing this thing and taking it to new levels.
You know what? Competition is not a bad thing, right? It
Not at all.
spurs the real creativity and innovation. It is. I think I love what you said. It's a little irritating at times, but you're on the right track. I always refer to the wood back manufacturers as kind of the microbrews of beer, and it's funny because you had said it's like, think about the first time a microbrew came out and said they wanted to add orange to their beer, and everybody goes, "You can't do that." I see the same thing as bat manufacturers. Wait a minute, you can't put a different gloss on it. You can't use another wood, and all of a sudden you can, and everybody's now doing that. I guess what that
Right.
is, one is the specific target market that you guys are looking for, and how that relates to your unique proposition in the industry of kind of bringing some of those innovative things to the market.
Right. Well, first and foremost, our whole goal is performance. We want our players to succeed. We want them to excel. And I say it all the time: if our players aren't putting up numbers, then we're not putting up numbers. So plain and simple. So we want to put the best product that we can in their hands to allow them to maximize their potential. That's what our name is all about. Over the wall. We want to take it over the wall. We want to take it beyond the limits and push it as far as we possibly can. But like I said, our target market, yes, we deal with the pro guys, the MLB guys, but our target market is really the college and high school guys. Because it's those guys that are scratching and clawing, trying to fight their way to make it to the next level, and we want to be in their corner, to help them along that way and kind of navigate that path.
It's interesting that you're doing that because the market itself is bigger the younger they are, right? But really,
Absolutely.
the influence is at the higher end. So you guys are really taking a step out, right, in belief in your product, because like you said, if they don't have big hits, you don't have big hits.
Right.
I guess really, Dylan, you're kind of the creative guy. You're embracing the social media. Obviously, it's changed everything from a marketing perspective. It's fun kind of talking to your dad. I think back of the 20, 30 years and what has changed, and you're going, you grew up with this. Talk about how you're bringing the old guy into the new age of really getting the word out and using social media as really the key to your success.
That has been a challenge. That's a hat that I am not familiar with, but fortunately, I've got to just let him take the reins on that. So I'm going to let him kind of navigate that because it has been a challenge. We've butted heads several times, believe me.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Yeah, it's been tough, but I mean, he's starting to grasp it a little bit. He's starting to see the value of it and where everything's going. I think it's just a term, like it just comes to allocating your resources and for the most potential. You don't want to be throwing money in different places that it's not going to give you a return, or that you're just hoping for a result that you're not that you're not guaranteed to get. So I think putting it into hands of people that matter and that the audience and the market are following is just a direct avenue for user generated content and just brand awareness overall.
It's really interesting. The Super Bowl was just a month ago or so, and you watch these guys spending $6 million, $10 million for a 30-second ad. And I have to laugh because you can take those numbers, extrapolate them out, and I can do that for free on social media. And that's the power that we've got with these smaller companies. We can now compete with the big boys. I mean, hell, I haven't seen a Louisville Slugger ad ever and you guys are out there. You see you all over the social media. I would imagine that most people, Dylan, your age, Louisville Slugger's not even an option, right? It's an old school play that my dad used to use. Other than the big name guys that you're really looking for from an influencer perspective, talk a bit about more. Do you implement kind of ambassadors with the program? Is it just influencers? Talk a bit about kind of your strategy from a marketing perspective.
Right. No, it's definitely not limited to influencers or content creators. I like to say I'm building an army. I'm building an army of athletes, influencers, content creators, just people that want to, be a part of the brand and be a part of the game. And what we're really doing is allowing these athletes to learn how to, if they're not already introduced into this area, we're allowing them to learn how to build a brand alongside us. Because in this day and age, experience and um, marketability and just exposure is really important. And any way that these guys can get it is valuable to them at the end of the day.
That's awesome. That's great. So
the game has changed so much in the last 10 years that back when social media in the last 10 years is taken an exponential turn. And a lot of these kids are now looking to build value within themselves by creating content, even at the pro level. Some of these guys, in order to create value to the organization at the MLB level, they're having to step out of their comfort zone and get into the social media arena to help influence their contracts down the road. The more following they have, then obviously that organization is going to look at them as a value piece. I mean, you look at guys like Shotani and Mike Trout and guys that are on the social media presence, and all of a sudden their value becomes more because people recognize them. And what happens? That translates into shirt sales, cap sales, ticket sales, and all those royalties come in, and that's how they actually end up affording to pay these contracts, hundreds of millions of dollars of contracts to these players because of the marketability of that particular player. So, it's a rough game. It's a dangerous game, but at the end of the day, it's a fun game. And that's what we're trying to do, is build value with our athletes that are part of our program. And not only that, they care about us. They care about the brand. They care about what we're trying to do. They see the potential. They see the growth, and they're excited to be a part of the team.
Now, you bring up really good points. And I think one of the challenges, and I'll throw this back to you guys, the challenge I see in business in general is the focus on brand is so high now. And it almost makes people deter from the actual product. How do you guys stay on top of that curve from a performance perspective while blending the brand and the focus that you have on the brand? I mean, what are you guys doing from you've talked, this is kind of your time to what's going to come with OTW. How are you guys staying on top of that and always providing the best product for the customers?
Well, marketing is always a challenge. I mean, there's no exact science to it. And, that's kind of the detriment and the fun of it at the same time. So, building a brand that is adaptable, building a brand that is that we can mold into the trends that are currently taking place in the arena and the market. Kids today want flashy, they want swag, they want all kinds of things that kind of set their persona apart. They want something that's going to be a part of their persona.
Yep.
And that part of that marketing process is bridging that gap between what we have to offer and what they have to offer, and figuring out, okay, what's it going to take to get those two to merge together to create a really good, valuable product as a combination. So we're looking to innovate and all that, and that on all those arenas. And Dylan's done a really, really good job of bridging those gaps and getting those players on board. And it's just, like I said, it's going to come down to just keeping up with the times.
Yeah.
I'm getting older, so we need a young buck, to spearhead this up, moving forward, so that we can keep up with, what the players want.
Right. And like play on to what he's saying, it really does come down to the consumer. And something that you'll find different about us is we really care about all of our players, down to, it doesn't matter if they're a high school kid, college kid, if they're, out of high school and not even in college and just playing on their own. Like, they can come in and we'll fit them for a bat and make sure they're getting exactly what they need. And that's how we, gather what's going on. And just by caring for our guys, making sure that they feel taken care of.
That's great.
One of the things that we do is we don't compromise the quality at any age, at any level. What we do for a kid that's 6 years old, 16, or 26 playing in the pros, they all get the same amount of attention. We're always accessible. We make sure that they get the best quality, because, like I said, the younger guys, they're the ones that are scratching and clawing, trying to find, whether it's a high school guy trying to get into college or a college guy trying to get into the pros. We want to be in their corner and help fight that battle with them.
No, that's great. That's repeat customers. It's you're almost selling a service more than you are a product. And I think that's that's what I'm hearing through this. It's really serviceability, the availability for you guys, and then the product obviously has to work, or people won't come back. And I think that's your name is synonymous to that. So I think that's awesome. Two quick questions. Biggest challenge that you faced being an entrepreneur, and how have you overcome it?
The biggest challenge, especially in the arena that we're playing in as a small company, is always capitalization. I mean, it takes some deep, deep pockets to be able to compete against the bigger names, and it's been a challenge. And quite honestly, when COVID hit, it really knocked the wind out of our sails. We were struggling, we were stressing, but fortunately, we were small enough where we didn't have the overhead that it didn't really take the wind out completely. But, it did set us back. And, in the last couple of years, we've kind of taken a back seat and kind of remain low key. But this year, we were making a really big push to get back into the arena, and almost a relaunch of our brand. We have a lot of guys in the system that have used us in the past. We're known in the arena, especially at the pro level. But, we've been kind of quiet the last couple of years, for obvious reasons. But now we're, making a big push and getting our name back out there, and being here at spring training, we've been able to work with a lot of good quality names. And there's a lot of guys that are going to be swinging us this year, on TV. So we're excited about that, and all of that. We use MLB, like I said, as a trampoline, a springboard, to help get what the kids want. Whatever the pro guys are swinging is what the kids want. So that's our trampoline effect.
That's great. Was there anything out of COVID other than, you said you were small enough that you were able to absorb it. Was there anything that came out of that you've changed, that you're kind of implementing now? And you said you're really launching forward this year.
Yeah, I mean, every day is a learning process. I mean, just because we've been in the business for 11 years doesn't mean we're not learning. Every day is a learning process. Just like your pro guys, every day they're in the cages hitting, working on their swing. Well, we're working on what we're doing every single day. We're trying to come up with new ideas. Post-COVID, I mean, it was a very humbling experience. It really set us back, and we looked at, okay, what do we need to change moving forward? What do we need to do to take this to another level? So it actually gave us a lot of time to redesign and restructure that vision and that mission. So it was a blessing and a curse at the same time. But a lot of things came into play. A lot of things came our way, and now we're at a position where we can take this to another level. So we're really excited about what's going on.
That's great.
Speaking of launch, we got the launch crew.
Yeah, speaking of launch, the affiliate program that he's working with, and a lot of the community that he's building, is we've titled it our launch crew, if you will. So
we got some really great guys in there, really talented, people that really care about us, that have been with us since day one, people that just come aboard that have that same energy, and it's really fun getting to work with these guys.
That's great. That's great. So in your opinion, what are some of the emerging trends or opportunities you see shaping the future of baseball industry, and how is your business positioned to capitalize on it?
Baseball's changed so much. Everything has been analytic driven for the last 2 to 3 years, more so than in the past 5 to 10. So keeping up with those trends, I'm not going to say which organization, but we're working with one organization right now on developing a really special bat for their organization and their pro guys. So we're very fortunate that they picked us to help get that innovation into place and help design that optimal bat, if you will, for their players. And so it's like I said, the game is constantly changing. Analytics have taken over, some good, some bad, but at the end of the day, the goal is to make a better player. And if we can have our product in their hands while they're navigating that journey, all the more power, and we're excited to be a part of it. But yeah, we've got some really special things going with this particular organization, a very well-known team out there, and I think this particular team is going to make a lot of noise this year. It's a young team, but I think, and I've called it, I think they're going to make it to the World Series this year.
Okay, right here we heard it from Joey. Don't know who the team is, but it's going to be a young team. All right, I'm sitting here guessing. Give me part of the country. Is it Florida or Arizona?
They are in Florida right now.
Okay. Well, my team.
You got 15 teams to choose from in Florida right
well,
now.
I cut it in half, and now I'm going, okay, it can't be my Pirates, but maybe it is. I'll tell you.
They're up in the Northeast.
Hey, they've got a couple good guys. I like our I always like our chances to the All-Star break. So I'm a huge Pirate fan all the way to the All-Star break, and then I pick a few that I know that will go kind of the rest of the way to keep me engaged. So
no, you are right though. The Pirates do have a really good, strong young team this year.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
It's
we spent some time with them last week, and we're really excited to see what the Pirates bring to the table this year.
Yeah, they got a couple.
If they can stay healthy, they got some players on there that need to stay healthy to make it to the next level. But
well, it's kind of like the Royals a few years ago. All the pieces have got to just fire at the right time, and that's why. Yeah, I'm one of those guys that you cheer for the Royals and the Twins and the Pirates, but as soon as they win, it kills all conversation about making a little more of a level playing field. So it's one of those.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing and a curse, right? You don't want to hope for it, but it's what you do. So, gentlemen,
it was the Royals who helped us get to our first World Series back in 2015.
Yep.
So we were with Salvador Perez at the time, and that was kind of our first huge accolade. And it was a fun experience. Got to spend Game 1 in the clubhouse with them in Kansas City.
Awesome.
So that was a fun little deal for us as a small little company out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting ride. I tell we're building a team around us, like Dylan said, and what I've noticed over the last couple of years, being fortunate to be in the clubhouse with a lot of these guys, the teams that are winning have the best family unit that's out there in the game. And you can see the camaraderie, you can see the brotherhood, you can see the excitement. They love each other, they play around, they joke around with each other. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the teams that are struggling, you can just feel the tension, you can feel the negativity, the individualism.
Yep.
So it's a very, very dynamic, volatile space.
It's why we love the game so much. There's so many areas that you can focus on, and I just there's nothing like it. I think it's fantastic. Hey, if you guys want more information on OTW Bats, you can find it at the Baseball Blue Book app in the vendor section. We'll have everything in there, websites, social media links, everything else that they've got. And so we really appreciate Joey and Dylan Perez being on the program today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're all over the place. We've got actually 6 podcasts that we are now doing, everything from coaches, players, and now vendors with the Pitch podcast. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being on the program. Best of luck. Excited to follow you guys.
We appreciate it.
Man, been a lot of fun. Take care.
Hats off.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you very much. That was fantastic.
Absolutely. Appreciate